Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome back to Modern Mining. Hope you guys like the new studio. Been doing a lot of work there. But today, let's talk a little bit about the market and how I'm still kind of squeezing out a little bit of passive income even when the crypto market is down like crazy. I also dodged a huge bullet this week on one of my bots. I started messing around with the Martingale bots and almost got burned by it. I still think those have a ton of potential, but I want to kind of walk you guys through the difference between a grid trading bot and a Martingale bot and which kind of situations are better for each one to make some serious passive income still, even when the market is choppy. So I'm sure if you guys have had access to internet at all over the past week, you've probably seen the horrible dip in the stock market and even worse in the crypto market. So just over the past 7 days here, you can see that basically every chart is kind of straight down. Though randomly today we are seeing some crazy pumps. So Caspa 24%, Aleo 23%. But if you zoom out, these coins are still down 60 plus percent. They're nowhere near where they were. But the more concerning thing for me was Bitcoin going down to 83K, which is a pretty big drop from like the 90K that it started the week on. Now, this isn't just in crypto, this is also in stocks, and this is potentially the more concerning thing, is that we're seeing the NASDAQ and the S&P drop pretty significant percentages, and that's what makes you kind of think that there's bigger events going on that aren't necessarily only related to crypto. So if we get our measurement tool here and take a look at the QQQ, you can see we dropped all the way down to 13.6% from all-time high, and then currently we're sitting about 11.63%. So that's a pretty decent dip for QQQ, and to me signals that there is a lot of uncertainty going on with all this tariffs and stuff. And so I actually kind of de-risked my crypto portfolio a little bit this week, and that's what I want to take a look at with you guys. So I definitely didn't get burned by any means, but I did take a $140 loss on 2 bots this week, which is the first time I've actually taken a loss on these bots, and it's because I kind of saw the market moving against me and wanted to kind of lower my risk. Now, I am not a crypto trader by any means, and to be honest, I think crypto trading is normally a recipe for disaster, to just lose money over time. I'm definitely a more of a buy and hold kind of guy, but that's why I do like these Pionex trading bots, because they offer a way to generate a little bit of money while you're just holding these coins. And the ones that I ended up selling were the Martingale bots. And honestly, this was my fault because I got in at a bad time. But I figured it'd be a good opportunity to kind of present you guys the Martingale bot versus the grid trading bot and see which one is better for which situation. And the Martingale bot was obviously not the correct one in this time period. So I have a bunch of videos on the grid trading bots. If you haven't seen them, I'll leave my Pionex trading bot videos up in the corner. Those are all grid trading bots. I haven't done a video on the Martingale ones yet. But really quickly, let's go ahead and discuss how these things work. So as always, I use ChatGPT to kind of break down stuff like this, and I thought this was pretty cool. So I was able to input my Pionex basically parameters of my Martingale bot, and it was able to break down exactly what is going on here and what the Martingale strategy is. This strategy is not specific to Pionex. It's honestly just a general trading strategy that's pretty cool, but there's significant downsides if the market turns and starts going straight down. So just to quickly explain it before we dive into the numbers, a Martingale bot is basically going to DCA as a coin decreases, and as it's DCAing down, if there's any sort of rebound, then it's going to sell, and then basically you've completed a round. You dollar cost average down, you're buying more and more coins the more it goes down. So you might only buy $5 when it drops the first 1%. You might buy $10 when it drops 10%. And then you might buy like $500 when it drops 20%. It's gradually buying more the lower it goes. And that's also decreasing the price that you need to hit to sell to make profit. So to quickly break down the Pionex parameters, you have the price scale, which is basically saying that you buy every 1% drop. Safety orders is how many buys you have as it goes down before you run out of money. So in this case, on this bot right here, you only have enough money to buy for an 8% drop because you're buying in every increment of 1% drop. Now, the volume scale is how much you buy on each order. So ours is at 1.5 right here, and ChatGPT is telling us that each safety order is going to buy 1.4 times more than the previous one, which is what I previously described, that you're buying more coins the lower you go. Now, we already discussed the safety orders here, and the last thing is really the take profit ratio, and that is how high do you need to go above your average buy price to sell to make profit? And in this case, ours is set to 1%. So our average buy price is 85K. Then we're going to sell 1% above that and lock in our profit. And so this was working extremely good. So I had this Martingale bot here with $3,000 in it. And let me show you guys, I had posted on Twitter, if you're not following me already, I'll have links down below, you should, of what my Martingale bot was doing. And it was at 170% APR, and it had already traded 7 rounds back when Bitcoin was around that 89K mark. So that means that it had gone down and then came back up enough to make a round, and we were going to get 170% APR on our Bitcoin. Now this got even better. If you look at the transactions on this bot I closed, you can see that one transaction alone earned me $17. So that $7 in arbitrage profit was actually $24, and this average APR was up to like 250%. But that's where things turned around and went bad. Where Bitcoin basically decided to go from 89K all the way down to like 80, I think it went to like 79K. However, I ended up closing this bot at around 82K because I could see things were not going in my direction. So what happens is, and you can see the transactions on the right here, is that my bot started, it bought its first little bit of Bitcoin at 90,000, and you can see that was $50 worth of Bitcoin, and then it bought some at 89,000, and that was $50 again. And then it bought some at 89,000, and that was $86 worth. And Bitcoin kept going lower and lower. And remember, I only have 8 safety orders. And then it got down to 83K, and my bot bought $1,000 worth. So at that point, all 3,000 of my dollars have been invested into Bitcoin, and I don't have any more safety orders. So this bot was not going to profit at all until Bitcoin came back up to like 87K for me to be able to make that profit. So when I saw that the stock market was going way down, I did end up closing out this bot for a $120 loss, which honestly is not that bad considering Bitcoin went down like 10%. And with my $3,000 investment, if I had just bought Bitcoin, it would have been more like a $300 loss. Though in that situation, I probably wouldn't have sold it. So that's the downside of the Martingale bots. If you don't have enough safety orders, you're just going to keep buying all the way down until you're out of safety orders. And then you have to go much, much higher to actually lock in your profit. So that is a pretty significant risk. And these bots are definitely much better in choppy markets where they're going up and down all over the place with no huge swings. But you obviously can switch the parameters. So if we look at the parameters of this one actually has 15 safety orders. In the volume scale, it's only buying 1.2x more Bitcoin each way down. So these things are crazy, and you saw right here that there is insane potential for profits, but right now when Bitcoin and the stocks are taking pretty hard is not necessarily the time for these. So that brings me into the second point I wanted to get into on this video, and that is my current grid trading bots. And I'm sure a lot of you guys have this issue right now, is what do you do if your grid trading bot is below your lower limit? So your bot is no longer actually trading and making money. Like I've always said, if the coin price goes below the lower limit, then it's essentially like you're holding the coin. But if we have these bots, we want them to be trading. So I found a little trick to basically lower the lower limit of your bot without losing any money. So you can see my Ethereum bot here has a price range of 2,100 to 6,000. So Ethereum sitting at 1951 is not going to be trading right now because it's below the lower limit. Now, if I set my price range to like 1,500, then I'm actually going to be selling a lot of Ethereum to make that price range change, which since Ethereum's so low right now, that's technically selling low, which you do not want to do. So how do you change this price range without selling low and still enable your bot to keep making trades and keep raising your arbitrage profit? Because after all, this bot is making 9% APY on my Ethereum, and I'm still holding all my Ethereum as when I started it, but the only difference is I have an extra $186, which is pretty awesome. So let me show you guys how to do that, because this is a pretty cool trick I haven't seen people do. So basically all we're going to go to is more, edit price range, and we want to set our lower limit to basically directly above what the price is. So we can set this to 1960 right now. And if you want to, you can lower the upper limit the same amount that you lowered the lower limit to keep your profit the same per trade, but you don't have to do that. And And so what this is going to do is when we go to next steps here, you can see our proportion of Ethereum before and after making this change is the exact same. So we are not buying or selling Ethereum, but now if Ethereum goes back to $2,000, our bot is trading again when it wouldn't have been a couple minutes ago when our loan limit was still 2,100. And so you can see here, I've already done this on my Bitcoin bot right here because my old price range used to be 85,000 and I lowered it to 82,000. I should have lowered it to like 80,000 when Bitcoin was like 79K, but I just didn't catch it in time. And now when Bitcoin is 83,390, it is back within my range and I'm getting trades. So I got one trade today and we can see that it generated 70 cents. So those trades stack up. I mean, this Bitcoin bot is again at around 10% APY and I have the same amount of Bitcoin as I had if I wouldn't have started this bot. So these things are pretty good in a bearish kind of environment. And that might not be super obvious to people, but sort of choppy bearish markets are pretty good for these grid trading bots, especially when you know how to lower the price range to kind of always make sure that it's trading without really having any downsides. So that's about it, guys. I wanted to just give you a tip on how to basically maximize your trading bots. I know I've been making a lot of videos on these, but with mining kind of down, this really is my best source of passive income right now, and it's super easy to set up. So if you haven't set it up, I will leave my Pionex referral link down below. I get a little bit of commissions from that, and you guys get some benefits in terms of trading fees within your first 30 days. So definitely check that out. If you're interested in learning more about these, I will leave a link to the playlist of all the bot videos I've done. It's starting to grow and there's a lot of good information in there. And if you're interested in buying GPUs, check out my site gpudeals.net where you can find the best deals on any GPU you want to buy. Thanks for watching, guys, and I hope to see you next time.